Well, I started this already, and I'm outside. I'm actually outside in Favor's yard. This is Favor's backyard. Oh, one of her roses is blooming sweet. That one the landscaper hasn't killed. She has a landscaper that is the most useless thing I have ever seen. And the problem, most likely, is that the landscaper is the father of the property manager. And so he comes and mows the lawn, sort of. He came last Friday and was here for about a half an hour and mowed the lawn, but you couldn't tell that the lawn had been mowed. Uh, and he doesn't do anything else except kill her plants. He mowed down 2 of her rose bushes, which upset her greatly. There are several trees here that actually were really nice trees that he killed by pruning them back to nothing. And meanwhile, there's several dead trees in the yard that he's just left here, and so the landscaper is an issue that's going to have to be dealt with because they're paying. They had $200 a month added to their rent to pay for this landscaper, who only works from May to September, and doesn't do anything. Doesn't weed. Doesn't do anything, and so the landscaper is an issue that's going to have to be addressed because $200 a month for somebody to come and mow the lawn for half an hour and it doesn't even look like it's been mowed is just simply not acceptable. Anyway, and you got that rant because I'm looking over here seeing that the rose that he has not managed to kill yet is actually blooming, and it's actually a pretty rose. It's yellow with red around the edges. And actually the roses he mowed over, I think, were Isaac's roses. So Isaac will be one sad little boy when he gets back home. The big boys, Isaac and Cyrus, are in Vermont with their dad for the summer. And so anyway, we got here. We're in Colorado now, and we got here last Tuesday, I think it was. And we're actually parked in front of Favor's house, which is where we're going to stay for a while because she has to have a major surgery Wednesday. She is 14 weeks pregnant, which is wonderful news. Her Crohn's doctor told her if she wanted to have another baby, this was the time to do it. And so physically she's recovered enough from the Crohn's surgery that she had last October that she was able to conceive. And so she went in for her 12-week ultrasound, and they discovered a very large ovarian cyst. And so all of her doctors, including her Crohn's doctor, said this has to come out. You cannot go through a pregnancy with this because if it bursts, there's trouble. But also, her Crohn's doctor is concerned about too much pressure on the intestines with an enlarging fetus and this huge ovarian cyst, which is actually at the moment twice as big as her baby. So that's happening Wednesday. So because she's going to be in a period of recovery, all right, let's see. Because she's going to be in a period of recovery, my screen keeps going blank. I'm not sure exactly why it's doing that because it's telling me that it's still making the movie. Anyway, I'll figure it out later. But because she's going to be in a period of recovery, then we're going to just park in front of her house, and so that her dad and I are here to help her through the recovery period from her surgery. So we're actually not going to look for an RV park and for probably 3 or 4 weeks while she's here and recovering and getting back to the point where she can manage her life without assistance. But it's nice here. There's a pond. I got some videos of the pond, which I'll upload into this Mac as soon as I figure out how to do that. And one of the benefits of being here is my son-in-law is a computer genius. I mean, it's just ridiculous, the things that he can do. And actually it's what he does for work. He goes around and installs whole home computer systems and theater systems in people's houses out here. And he actually can be anywhere. I mean, he can be anywhere in Denver, and he can get into any of our computers. I don't know if he could get into mine because it's a Mac, but he actually has a Mac that he uses for work. So he is familiar with Macs, although all of their computers are PCs. But so anyway, if I'm going to Google it later and see if I can figure it out myself, and failing that, I'm sure Smokey will be able to show me how to do it. So I'll get those in the Mac, and get those on a video blog for you, because there's geese, and there's goslings and there's ducks, and there's ducklings, and there's several other kinds of water birds, and several kinds I'm not sure what they are. One of them looks almost like a loon, a small loon, and there's several kinds of I think they're herons here on the pond. And there's dogs everywhere, which is really great for my girls, because in the week that we've been here, I've seen a huge reduction in the dog aggression in my dogs, which is I'm really appreciative of. Before, in a situation where they were loose, they're always completely under control when they're on a leash, because I've just absolutely, once I realized I had aggression issues, made sure that they were completely under my control while they're on a leash. I'm having to muzzle them when we go out of the yard here, not because I don't have control over my dogs, but because nobody else here has any control over their dogs. It is hysterical. I thought my dogs were, and it's the same way with my kids. I thought my kids were badly behaved until I saw how other kids behaved in public, and then I thought, damn, my kids are great. Because when I see how other people allow their children to behave in public, it's like appalling. I have actually, when my kids were little, it was like, oh my God, I have good kids. Whoa. And I have found that to be the case with my dogs. Even though I have some dog aggression issues, when we're out, on walks, my dogs are under my control. And if they begin to exhibit any kind of aggression, I nip that immediately, and so that there's no escalation. And in the process, then they learn that they really actually cannot behave this way. And so, but in a loose, and no one else, and all of the people I've seen walking their dogs around the pond, no one has any control over their dogs. It's hysterical. I just think it's completely hysterical. So anyway, I have my dogs muzzled because there are leash laws. They're very strict leash laws here. And so if my dogs did happen to cause injury to another dog, it would be because that dog invaded our space. And my leashes are like, they're 1.5 feet long. The legal allowable length here is 10 feet, but I see people with those with flexi leashes, which are like no leash. They're like totally useless. If you want to have any control over your animal, a flexi leash is totally useless. At any rate, no issue there if my dogs are muzzled that somebody else's totally out of control dog is going to get hurt because it invades my space. Because dogs are like stupid. It just it amazes me. It's always the little dogs that would be like one bite for my girls. Even though they're midgets, they're still big dogs. And so it's the little dogs that are always attacking my dogs. And so it's like, you know what? You need to have control over your dog. But if you don't, and obviously you don't, then I'm going to go the extra mile with my girls and make sure that your dog does not have to pay for your ignorance and by getting bit. So at this point, that's what I'm doing. And so but again, it was like amazing to me. It's like, wow, my dogs are good. My dogs are actually really good, but here in the yard when they're loose, there's dogs on both sides. And so it's been really good because I have gotten them now in just a week to the point where if I see them start to go for the fence in an aggressive manner because one of the dogs is right on the other side, I can verbally correct them now and they'll stand down, which is so that's really an improvement. And I've been able to take them within a few inches of the fence with a dog right on the other side sniffing at them, and they have to get within a few inches before there's any kind of a reaction on the part of my girls at all, which of course I correct immediately. So I have a feeling it's only going to be a few days now before they can actually sniff each other through the fence and my dogs can learn how to properly meet another dog without feeling like they have to defend themselves, which is the issue with my dogs. Their aggression is actually the result of insecurity more than anything else. And so that's been good. And the RV parks around here say that well-behaved dogs are accepted, and so I have no qualms whatsoever now, having seen what I've seen about other people's ability to what other people think are well-behaved dogs. One of the nice things about getting instruction from somebody like Cesar Millan, who really knows dogs, is that you learn what a well-behaved dog actually is and what a well-behaved dog isn't. And so my dogs are good. I'm pleased. Which doesn't mean that we're there. We're certainly not. But I have no reservations now about saying, yes, my dogs are well behaved and they will not cause any trouble for anyone. And so we're kicked back here and enjoying it. And there's progressions to be made as we settle in here and get her through this surgery and figure out where we're going to park the RV, at least until we get back from Ireland. And life is good. Life is really good. This is a goal achieved for me, to be here in Colorado with my kids. And so I just thought I'd pop on here. And Lazy, you're such a... I got to show you this. This is my Lazy. This is that's Lily over there. But this, all right, how am I going to do this? This is my dorky Lazy dog. All right, how am I going to... I got to figure out how this is working. It's not working well. Anyway, that's part of Lazy. All right, I got to go. How am I going to do this? This ridiculous dog. Oh, there you go. There you go. There you go. That's my Lazy girl. She's hysterical. She does that all the time. I swear to God, she has an upside down gene. Because, oh, look, she's all sweaty. Anyway, and she's all skinny because they're only eating about half the time. And Lily, doesn't matter with Lily because she keeps weight on really, really well. But Lazy is much more insecure, has a much more, I think she has a higher metabolism than Lil as well. And so when she doesn't eat, she drops weight really, really fast. So she didn't eat for 2 days on the way over. And then now she's eating about every other day. So it shouldn't be too long now, especially as I can spend more time with him here out in the yard loose before she settles in and goes back to eating like normal. At any rate, today we're going to go off and do some shopping because we're going to lay in food for the week because there's going to be a lot of back and forth to the hospital starting on Wednesday. Smokey and I are going with her, and because Smokey just comes unglued whenever she has to have surgery, so I'll be going with him to the hospital, and Tom will be here with my little grandson Chase. So we're going to be spending some time running around getting done what we need to get done before she heads off for her surgery on Wednesday. And then it's just kicking back and getting her through her recovery period and settling into life here, which is nice. I'm really in a good place. Really in a good place here. It's a goal. It's a goal that I've achieved, and and I'm liking it. I'm really liking it. And so anyway, this is my little life with Lorian video for you folks today. I'm going to get it posted because somebody's, they've peeked out the door a few times. So what time is it here in Colorado? It's only 12:15. They can wait for me. It won't hurt them. And so I guess that's it. I guess that's it for now. And as we branch out, which we're going to do, we'll go. My daughter Kelly walks the Danes with me a lot because Tom hurt his knee on the way over here. And there's actually one of the nice things I like about it here, even though it's because we're really outside the city. We're in Aurora, and so even though it's like Southern California, housing tracts everywhere. They leave open spaces and they have trails through, so you can actually walk. We can take the dogs. We have the pond, which is nice, but then we can go out and there's trails around, and there's also several dog parks here in the city, and so we're going to find a couple of those, and once we get Fave through the surgery and we have a little bit more time, then we'll start some exploration, and that's always fun. Exploring a new place. I'm gonna get online here today at some point and start looking up co-ops, because when I was here in October, I discovered online a co-op that was forming, and when I was looking at their intentions, there's a word for that other than intentions, and I've been trying for days to think of what it is. And I can't. Their plan. When I was looking at the description of what it is that they were wanting to create, it sounded exactly like my co-op in total brain cramp, White River Junction, where I worked, and so that really interested me. So I'm going to see if they're still around, and I'm going to look up some other co-ops. There are some nice. I got to tell you, eating here is going to cost me half as much as eating in Vermont. I can get 100% organic grass-fed beef for less than the crap meat at the grocery store in Vermont. It is ridiculous. I can get 100% organic spring mix for $3.50 a pound here in the regular store at Sprouts, and so it's just ridiculous, the difference in the price. I don't know if it's because it's more local. I don't know if it's because there's Sprouts here and there's Whole Foods here. Sprouts is better for meat. The Whole Foods has more of a selection of organic produce, but the prices at Sprouts were a little bit better. And so we go to Sprouts for our meat and our produce, and then what we can't get at Sprouts, then we go over to the Whole Foods and pick up the rest. But actually, I'm going to start looking for co-ops, because I prefer co-ops anyway. I like the whole co-op concept, and I prefer that the produce comes from local sources. And so anyway, that'll be something that I do today, start doing today. And so it's an adventure, it's settling into a new place and making discoveries, figuring out what's where and all the fun stuff. And there's lots of places to, we can throw the dogs in the back of the Durango and go down the road a little bit. And I'm moving all around here. Look at this tree. Isn't that a great tree? I love that tree. I have no idea what kind it is, but I think the bark on that tree is great. There's several of them in the yard. It's one of these that the landscaper killed. Anyway, and I don't know why he did what he did. He thinks he's a landscaper, but let me tell you what, I know something about plants, but I am not an expert about plants. But they can pay me that $200 a month, and I'll landscape the yard. It'll take me half as much time, and it'll look like somebody's done something. Anyway, and it's something I enjoy, and I would do anyway. So, heck, if you can get paid for something that you enjoy and would do anyway, why not, It works for me. All right, anyway, I'm going to hit 20 minutes here, and we have things to do. So I'm going to shut my mouth, turn this off, get it uploaded, and get it into a blog so that we can go on about our day. And I'll be back at you tomorrow. Okay? Bye-bye.